This segment of the news is brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.
Welcome back. Call them the Bling Ring. A group of 6 Chinese and Americans stood before a magistrate for allegedly swiping over $500,000 worth of jewelry, watches, and diamonds from various stores throughout New Providence. Consequently, they were to be charged with a spate of fraud-related charges today. That, however, never happened, and it's not scheduled to happen until Friday due to a language barrier. The 6 accused will wait it out on remand at the Bahamas Department of Corrections. Social media reports of how and why a Defense Force Marine died as health officials on the defensive. The initial story was that Scott Wallace passed after getting infected on Abaco post-Hurricane Dorian. But a statement from the Ministry of Health says that's both a reckless and untrue allegation. We're now told Wallace suffered a cardiac arrest after arriving at the Marsh Harbor Clinic around 6 Tuesday evening, and that he succumbed after emergency air evacuation and was pronounced dead at Doctors Hospital. According to a Ministry of Health statement, there's no evidence that Wallace's death was in any way related to his posting in Abaco, the environment, air, or water. An autopsy is to confirm Wallace's exact cause of death and the relation to his known chronic medical illnesses. As a precautionary measure, though, the Ministry of Health says it's examined 17 other RBDF and RBPF officers, one of whom had a rash and respiratory symptoms. Still, it stresses that there is no specific or generalized risk of living in Abaco, as no illnesses or hazards warranting quarantine threaten those attempting to return. All in all, the ministry is admonishing the public not to share reports unless from a reputable and credible source. The RBDF, meantime, remembering Petty Officer Wallace as a dedicated Marine, noting that over the course of his 20-year career, he provided the Defense Force and his country with exemplary service as an engineer in the hull section of the engineering department, as well as a member of the engineering team aboard HMBS Bahamas. The Ministry of Health, RBDF Commodore Tellis Bethel, and other members of the RBDF have extended sincerest condolences to the Wallace family. 1 newly instituted, 2 reconstituted, and 5 previously existing, giving a grand total of 8 boards and committees, all of which are expected to bolster the Ministry of National Security's efforts. Take, for instance, the Rehabilitation of Offenders Committee. National Security Minister Marvin Dame says the idea here is to help ensure ex-cons are not discriminated against. The reinstituted Police Complaints Inspectorate is one Bahamians have been seeking out and making their own complaints about for quite some time. It will now be chaired by attorney and CEO of the Bahamas Financial Services Board, Tanya McCartney. Other members include John Ferguson, Matthew Albury, Alan Emanuel, Franklin Bethel, and Hilbert Colley. The other boards include Aid to Discharged Prisoners, the only non-statutory board, the Advisory Committee on the Prerogative of Mercy, the Correctional Service Review Board, the Defense Commission Board, and the Police Service Board. That wraps up this segment of our news. Stay with us for a check on sports.
This segment of the news has been brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.